The Golden State Warriors are probably the best drafting team in the league. They've managed to build their dynasty without a single top 5 draft pick. Steph Curry was taken with the 7th pick, Klay was taken with the 11th pick, and Draymond Green, a 4-time All-Star and Defensive Player of the Year, was taken in the 2nd round. The Warriors found another steal deep in the draft this year when they took Patrick Baldwin Jr. with the 28th pick. Soon other teams are going to be kicking themselves for allowing Baldwin Jr. to slide past them, because he's a skilled 6'9" forward with lots of potential. The fact that the Warriors got to draft this kid right after winning the championship is unfair for the rest of the league. So in this video, let's break down why PPJ is a stud. But before we continue, I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you enjoy the content, please like the video and hit that subscribe button. Now let's get started. Before we deep dive into PPJ's game, let's do a brief recap of his basketball career. Back in 2021, he was a 5-star recruit and one of the top players in his draft class. He was actually projected to be a lottery pick in the 2022 draft. As a junior in high school, he averaged 24 points and 11 rebounds per game. He was known as a 6'9" small forward with a smooth jump shot and excellent perimeter skills for a player his size. His elite level of play got him offers from schools like Duke and Georgetown, but he opted to play for his father in Milwaukee. Unfortunately, he played well below expectations, averaging just 12 points and 6 boards a game on 34% shooting from the field and 26% from 3. And his poor season at Milwaukee is the main reason he went from a potential lottery pick to a late 1st round pick. So why am I still high on PPJ despite the poor numbers in college? I'm still high on him because he's a better player than what these numbers showed. For starters, he only played 11 games last season, which is a very small sample size of games, and he was also battling an ankle injury, which ultimately caused his season to get shut down early. The point is, PPJ is a much better prospect than what he showed in college, which is why the Warriors front office still took him over prospects that were viewed as more NBA ready. The biggest strength of his game is his shooting ability. He entered college with a reputation as a knockdown shooter, and at 6'9" with a high release point, he's able to get his shot off over defenders very easily. There was flashes of this ability against Rob Morris, where PPJ scored 26 points and made in 6 3-pointers. Look at how he can just effortlessly raise over defenders and hit the shot as if the defender wasn't even there. These are well defended shots, but it doesn't matter because at his size, he can easily get his jumper off. This ability to raise over defenders reminds me a lot of Michael Porter Jr. Porter Jr. is a similar size to Baldwin Jr. at 6'10", and like PPJ, he can easily shoot over defenders. MPJ's outside shot is pretty much automatic, and thanks to the fact that he's 6'10" with a high release point, he's absolute money from deep, even when the shot is contested. And another similarity to Patrick Baldwin Jr. is that MPJ was projected to be a top 5 pick, but fell back in the draft due to injury. MPJ only averaged 10 points per game on 33% shooting in college, but the Nuggets knew he was a better player than the numbers indicated, which is why they still took him with the 14th pick. And he had a breakout season in 2021, averaging 19 points and 7 boards a game on 54% shooting. Now, unfortunately, he missed almost all of last season due to injury, and hopefully he gets healthy again, but he was clearly a steal for someone taken that late in the draft. Let's circle this back to Patrick Baldwin Jr. Smart teams are always a step ahead and are willing to take these type of gambles, and if everything pans out for Patrick Baldwin Jr., he could be a similar player to Michael Porter Jr. Patrick Baldwin Jr.'s ability to hit from deep should make him a great fit in the Warriors offense, and I can imagine Steve Kerr running plenty of plays for him to get open from deep. The Warriors' motion offense has been getting Klay and Steph open threes for years, which makes these guys tough to defend. Now imagine having to chase around a 6'9" forward with a quick release and a high release point. He could be a very deadly off-ball player. And PPJ isn't just a shooter. He's got the ability to create his own shot. He's very comfortable putting the ball on the deck and getting to the basket. He's such a deadly shooter that defenders have to stay attached to him, and this is what creates his driving lanes. And he can also hit pull-up jumpers. He knows how to get to his spots, and again, thanks to his size, he can get his mid-range shot easily over defenders. And he even has the ability to hit step-back jumpers as well. And he's not just a scorer, he can pass the ball too. At Milwaukee, he showcased the ability to read the game at a high level. He can rebound the ball and make dimes in transition, and in half-court settings, he can draw multiple defenders and find the open man. He's definitely a pretty good passer for a player his size. As we can see, PBJ has a pretty high upside on the offensive end, but on the defensive end, it isn't as pretty. His lack of lateral speed makes him vulnerable to dribble penetration by fast players, and he tends to have lapses when guarding off the ball. But on the positive side, he does have the potential to be a good defender. He's got good size at 6'9" with a 7'1" wingspan, which gives him the potential to be a good shot blocker and have an impact as a help defender. He needs a higher motor on the defensive end, but he's also going to need to develop his body so that way he can be a better on-ball defender. Overall, PBJ has a ton of potential as a player, but he's also a project, but that's fine. Because the Warriors tend to bring their rookies along slowly so they develop properly and build good habits. He may not be in the rotation next year, and he'll probably spend some time in the G League, but after 2 to 3 years of developing, PBJ could break out. In just a few seasons, fans will be wondering how did Patrick Baldwin Jr. fall all the way to the end of the first round. But anyway guys, that's going to be the end of the video. Make sure you like the video and make sure you're subscribed to more hoops because I'm going to keep you guys informed on the latest Warriors news so you don't want to miss a single upload. Another player with a lot of potential on the Warriors is the recently acquired Trevion Williams. Click this video to see why he's an absolute stud for the Golden State Warriors.